Okay, so today I'm going to work to plant some spring bulbs now in the fall for spring blooms later. Unfortunately, these were not shipped to me in a timely manner, which is really sad. So a lot of them I'm planting super late. They might not come up at all, but I have the bulbs anyways. I will say I was fully refunded for my order, which I appreciate, but I definitely would have preferred to just have them come in on time so I could plant them when they were needed to be planted. But what I'm going to do today is just take you through each of these root or bulbs that you are planting in the fall for spring blooms. I'm in garden zone 6A. So I'll just speak to specifically when you should plant them based on your garden zone or last frosty, and then also how to plant them. And then we'll just take it one by one. I have peony roots, I have fritillaria, I have daylilies, I have some allium as well. I think I have a couple more varieties in here, but I'll kind of tag each section. So if you're looking for a specific bulb or root and how to plant them and when to plant them, just go ahead and skip ahead to that part. But otherwise, happy to have you here. Like and subscribe so we can see what magic occurs and if any of these actually come up in the spring. But I'm excited to get out into the garden today and do this project. Okay, so I separated out to really get a handle on what I'm planting today. So I have some pink sunrise muscari over here. I have a David tall phlox. I believe it's a root. And then I have bearded iris here. I have Harlem Oriental Poppy up here. And then I have 3 peony roots here as well. I'm really excited for those. And then I have a good mixed bag of allium over there. I have some lilies to plant and some fritillaria right here. So again, we'll take it one by one. I skip ahead if there's a specific one that you're interested in, and I'll kind of put them in the time blocks below, but in the chapters below. But yeah, we'll start with the peonies, and I'm excited to plant these. Unfortunately, like I said, I'm not planting them in the specific time that I was supposed to just because they weren't shipped to me on time, but we'll go ahead and show you how to plant them, when you should actually plant them, and again, maybe some magic will occur and they will still come up in the spring for me. We will see, but I'll keep you posted in the spring and kind of give you a garden tours throughout the season to see what happens. But yeah, I'll take you over to my rock garden. I just want to show this too. I just did a really loose rake. I'm okay with some leaves hanging around. They'll just kind of break down over the winter under the snow anyways. But I also have this whole other side over here that I'm going to go ahead and give a good rake to and just clean up a little bit. I did kind of cut my dahlias down. I'm going to dig those out, but yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. How I'm going to plant these out, something to consider, of course, is like the spacing needed for the bulbs. Also kind of the height that they're going to have. So for me, like my peonies, I'm going to probably plant those more towards the back, and they do need quite a bit of spacing. The only thing I have in this garden right now that isn't an annual is my hydrangea bush here that has died back. I have a climbing rose here. And then I had some yarrow back there as well. So we'll go ahead and slowly just kind of plan out where I want to put these. I think I am going to do a peony bush in the back over here. I would like to pop some alliums throughout here. I do have some crocus too that I think would be fun to kind of like plant all along like the front here. Those are typically your earliest spring bloomers. And then yeah, I'll kind of play around with it and show you what I'm thinking. All right, so I'm kind of mapping out. Again, I want to have that consistent bloom throughout spring of like new fun things popping up in both this side of the rock garden and over there, because this is really where we hang out. We have our family meals as the weather warms up, and it's just a fun. I also walk by it every day to go out the door. So for me, this is what I've planned out so far. Again, these will kind of be spaced out a little bit different, but back here, I'm going to do an Eden's Perfume peony bush. And then here, I believe I put some alliums, and those will kind of spread out around this back area, and those grow pretty tall and have like a roundish shape. So very visually like interesting. I also have some crocus and muscari that I'm going to plant kind of in the front area here. And then I have 2 bearded irises back here that I'm going to plant. And then back here, I'm going to do the Harlem Oriental Poppy in the back. And then here I have a magic daylily, making magic daylily. And then I have a fritillaria purple, persica purple fritillaria as well that I'll put here. But yeah, just trying to play around with really putting in blooms that will continuously come up throughout the spring season. Again, unfortunately not planting in the time that they should be, but also take you one by one and show you how to plant each item. And then this is really how I would lay out the garden anyways, to make sure that I have a mix of blooms that really have those early starts, like the crocus and the muscari, and then goes, you know, all the way through into like the daylilies, which is really early summer. And I made a separate video about that you can check out. But yeah, I will go ahead and get started. I'm going to start with the poppy in the back and show you how to plant that. This is our peony root. We're going to go ahead and dig a hole about 1 foot deep and 1 foot wide. You can see the top part here with the new growth is the eye. So when I go ahead to plant it, I'm going to go ahead and plant it like this on its side with the eye facing up. And then what you want to do is make sure that this is no less than 2 inches, like the eye is, below the soil, to really make sure it pops up. Once I get it in, I'll go ahead and give it a good water as well, just like I'll probably just water this entire bed, to be honest, as I go ahead and plant these bulbs. But I'll show you what that looks like once I get the hole dug. And I also am going to add a little bit of compost to the backfill, just because, you know, just to give it the best start it can have. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and pop this peony in here. Again, just showing you that eye here is really what I'm going to follow. So you want to make sure it's no less than 1.5 to 2 inches below the soil. And again, this is only my 2nd year planting peonies, but I have learned that if you plant them too deep, they won't flower. They'll still have beautiful greenery, but they won't flower. So do not want that to happen. So I'm just going to kind of gauge here as I backfill a little bit here and see. Yeah, I'm really trying to like loosen the soil as I go as well, and see where we can get to that. Like again, like 1.5 to 2 inch marks below. Like even that I think is still too low. So let's see. That feels pretty good here. So we're gonna start to fill in our back soil. It is a very chilly day today. I can't stop sniffling. I think, again, I feel like I always get sick right before the holidays, but I'll take it over being sick at the holidays. So again, we're just really backfilling and making sure to cover them good. I do have some mulch mixed in, but yes, there we go. Just gonna tamp that down a little bit. Perfect. So yeah, I'll give it a good water, and then we should be good to go for this first peony that I planted. I still have 2 more to go, but again, you just want to make sure the eye is facing up. I laid it on its side, and then you want to make sure that it only has about 1.5 to 2 inches of soil covering that eye. So hopefully this baby comes up beautifully in the spring. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and plant my Allium next. The bulbs, again, you want to plant them pointy side up. They like to be about 6 to 8 inches deep, and then have about that similar spacing between each other as well. So I'm just gonna do a little grouping of them here. Also do a second grouping of them on the other side of the garden, just for a fun pop. I love Allium. I think like the shape of them, they just have such a fun, round, really visually interesting shape. These ones specifically that I'm planting are Mediterranean Bell's Allium. So go ahead and put those in, and I'll show you. Again, we're about 6 inches deep here. I'm going to do pointy side up and try to give some generous spacing between them. So we got all 3 in there. I'm going to do another 3 on the other side, just to kind of bring you in a little bit closer. Then we'll just backfill over them. And again, I'm going to give this whole side of the garden, once I get all these bulbs planted, a good watering, and you should be good to go. But I definitely highly recommend these ones. They're very unfussy to plant, easy to grow, and add such great visual interest mid-spring for your garden. So I'm just going through and digging, again, like 2 to 3 inches down. I'm really just like loosening the soil around them, and then plopping them in, like I said, pointy side up. I think this will just be like a little fun moment in early spring to have this whole border just kind of pop with the crocus. so I'm gonna just go ahead and cover these back up with soil, you know, tamp it down. And then what I will do is go ahead and once I get these in the ground, really kind of just go through and give it a good watering. But these are, again, like the most low maintenance bulbs I've ever dealt with. So I'm excited to have, again, this little moment in early spring to come out to. It really, again, it's just like the first signs of life and I enjoy it. So these are our crocus bulb. I'm going to go ahead and kind of just scatter these and plant them throughout this front part of the garden. But you want to plant them pointy side up, similar to most bulbs. That's how they like to be planted. And then you want them about 2 to 3 inches deep, which I'll show you. And then you can just cover them back up. But these are really low maintenance. I've seen people plant them just in their yard, right in their grass. I've seen them, they honestly grow in my woods wildly. So that's really fun. But these are just a very low maintenance, easy spring bulb to plant. And again, they're those kind of like the first signs of spring. So I just really enjoy them. Okay, so next I'm going to go through with this pink sunrise muscari. They do like to be planted, again, pointy side up. They need about 2 to 3 inches in depth when you plant them. And then they need 2 to 3 inches of spacing between them as well. I love these. I just think they're such a fun pop of texture. They are very short in stem length, so I do like to plant them towards like the front of the bed. So they're, you know, visually seen. So I'll go ahead and start kind of mixing these in around where I put the crocus as well. They are an early spring bloomer, but also very easy to plant. Do be wary that they do, you know, spread in gardens and come back year over year. So wherever you're planting them, either know you're going to have to like dig them up if you get sick of them, or know that they're going to multiply like crazy in that specific area. And we are way past planting these. They still ship them to me. They don't look so hot from other videos I've watched of people planting irises. I'm just gonna stick them in the ground, to be honest. This is technically the rhizome here. It looks not great. And you want to plant it so like the roots kind of like go over and spread out, and keeping this like right at soil level. I'm just gonna throw them in the ground, see if any magic occurs. I don't have high hopes for this, but we will see. I'm not going to bother, you know, filming this part because, again, typically not the time to plant them. Also, I don't think they should look like this, but this is my first time trying to plant a bearded iris. So we will see what happens in the spring. Had these come in time. I would have planted these, I would probably say mid-September. And then I would have planted them like this in a trio. Again, you want the rhizome, the top of it, to just be above this, just be at the soil level. So and you want to spread the roots out as well, kind of like over a mound when you plant them. But we're just gonna see what happens. Sadly, I don't think anything will, but we will take a stab at it and see, and go for it anyways. Because again, they're just gonna rot in my compost otherwise. One more thing that I wanted to mention was that they do need about 15 to 18 inches of spacing. I have heard too it's good to plant them in like a trio format, so I kind of formed a triangle with them, but we'll see what happens in the spring. So next I'm going in with this poppy root. I think it's a Harlem Oriental Poppy. So I'm gonna go ahead, and this is the crown up here. You want to make sure that is planted about 1 to 2 inches below the soil. You can see the root system's pretty extensive, so I'm gonna dig a decent hole for that. And they do need 12 inches of spacing. So I think I have 3 of these. I might plant at least 2 here, and then do maybe 1 pop of them on the other side of the rock bed for fun too. But we'll go ahead and get started and pop this one in. Okay, so sadly our daylilies are probably very similar to our irises, where this is definitely not the ideal time to be planting them. They are a warm loving plant, and they should have been started 4 to 6 weeks before my first hard frost to establish. But again, they're just gonna rot in my compost. I'm gonna plant it and hope some magic happens. I don't think it will. But we'll go ahead and do that. So you wanna plant them 18 inches apart, about 18 inches. I'm gonna dig a hole about 18 inches deep as well. And make sure this is similar to like the irises. You know, the soil should come up to like right about here. So this is kind of this part sticking out of the ground here. So we'll take a stab at it. Again, these don't look so hot. I don't know if this is gonna work out, but we'll go ahead and do it anyways. Okay, so this is my fritillaria bulb. It's I think it, let me see, persica purple fritillaria. It's really pretty. Unfortunately, again, I'm planting late. It should have been planted 4 to 6 weeks before my last frost, but I did dig a hole about 6 to 8 inches deep, and it also needs that spacing around. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this in. I'm gonna plant it on its sides. I did see some roots sprouting here, so we're gonna just make sure it's planted on its side. That way the water can drain off of it as it rains, and then go ahead and backfill it, tamp it down. And again, I'm gonna water this whole garden area after I get these bulbs in the ground. So again, hoping for magic and that will come up in the spring. I just want to pop on and say thank you for hanging out with me today. You know, we'll see what happens in the spring. I don't have high hopes for some of them, but stuff like the crocus and I think like the Muscari, I think stuff like that will still come up. The rest of the blue, you know, bulbs and roots that were supposed to be planted 4 to 6 weeks ago, I don't have high hopes, but we will see. If they don't come up in the spring, I'll certainly just head to the nursery and buy similar ones and plant them in to kind of fill the garden in a bit more. Again, I was fully refunded for my order, so I appreciate that, but I would have preferred to have the bulbs and the roots in time. But we'll take a look and see what happens. Of course, the loudest truck in the world is going by. But I appreciate you hanging out with me. Still excited to be out here in the garden. Dreaming of spring already. It's, again, that first week of November. So, you know, we've got a ways to go, but, you know, glad to get these planted and excited to see what happens in many months from now. But hope everyone's enjoying their late fall and headed into the holiday season. I'm going to be doing some more videos coming up with more around floral design. So I'll be kind of decorating a tablescape for Thanksgiving, doing some arrangements for that, playing with some dried flowers from the garden too, and hope to have you join me in the future. Thanks so much.